You want to say hello? Say good morning. Happy Monday. Minks Mondays on the way. Oh, look at the baby. Look at the face. Look at the face. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Monday. Today, I'm coming at you with our weekly Minks Monday Q&A. And as you can see, I have Monsieur Edward with me. Right, baby? It's been a long time since you've seen them. Yes, they want to say hello. He has a little scratch on his nose. Yeah? You want to hang out with Mom? I know. Or you want to go out there with Grandma? Yeah? So needless to say, he wasn't having it. And it's really because my mom is here, and whenever she's here, he is all about her. So now they are hanging out outside of my room. But anyways, before I continue, let me share the bag that I'm currently using, and that is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the monogram canvas, and that is in the MM size. All right, so let's get started because I have loads of eye candy for you guys today. With the very first question from Carla Nichols: does having Cedar Packets in the same closet you store your bags harmful to the bags? Great question. And I already knew the answer to this, but I still thought that I would call a couple of sales associates just to get their feedback on them. And they all pretty much said the same thing. Cedar packets are very much like silica packets. They end up absorbing any moisture just to make sure that you don't have any of that musty, mildewy smell. And of course, because you have that cedar smell, some people like it, some people don't, but it really does help eliminate, or in a sense prevent, having that type of mustiness. And the only thing to note, if you were to use cedar packets, is to make sure that they are not directly on the item, because as I said before, they end up absorbing the moisture, and if you were to put that in a leather handbag, it would end up drying it out and cracking it over time, and you definitely want to avoid that. But if you were to put them in the space in the closet, on the shelves, wherever it is that you have your handbags, I think it's fine. And truth be told, some of the sales associates actually recommended using cedar packets over the silica packets just because they have that added smell element to them. But of course, if you don't like, you know, the scent of cedar, then I don't recommend them, and I would just end up using silica packets or something to that effect. But it is a great way to be able to prolong the interior of your handbag so that they don't get that musty, mildewy smell. So that is a great question, and you know, from what I have heard and from what I have read and from what they have suggested, it should be okay. So hopefully that ends up answering your question. Okay, Justice Space. How do you decide what is a good size for your handbag collection? Right now, mine is just starting off with the essential pieces. Example, tote, crossbody, shoulder bag. But if I had it my way, I would buy everything I fall in love with. I'm afraid if I keep collecting, I won't be able to fully love and enjoy all of my bags, but can't imagine ever selling any of them either. How do you decide what stays and goes in your collection, and whether you need or just want a bag? Fabulous, fabulous question. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you guys know that the collection that I had before compared to what I have now, and I will be doing an updated handbag collection video probably within the next week or two, is nowhere near what it used to be. And, you know, I think that I think you get really excited, and I remember just going into the boutique and saying, oh, I like this, I want this, I want this, I want that, and I just started, you know, amassing this collection, but I wouldn't end up using the items. They would just, you know, half the time they ended up sitting on my shelf, and I think that's why I'm so adamant about the fact that if it's just going to sit there, I would much rather put that item towards a handbag that I will really use, or that will really be functional for my lifestyle. Like I said before, you know, just because it's great for Bobby and Sally doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out for me. So I do a whole lot more research than I used to do before, and I think that's probably the reason why I'm so apprehensive to add another handbag to my collection. Because, you know, when it came to selling off the handbags that I had before, I lost quite a bit on money on some of them. I've told you guys that before. And on some of them, I was able to make back my funds. But, you know, it doesn't make sense for me anyways to be able to have something just sit on the shelf when I can really put that money towards something else. Obviously, I'm not a millionaire. And at the rate that I was going, I wasn't enjoying any of the handbags. I would just end up buying and buying and buying, you know, and I went crazy. At one point, I think in a video, I said I went off the deep end. And now I just really fully think things through to see what ends up working out for me. And I do, like I said before, tons and tons of research. And I really want to see if it's something that's going to suit my lifestyle, because I don't want to go through that same thing that I end up buying something, it doesn't end up working out, and then I have to end up selling it, and then I lose the money, whether because it wasn't a popular handbag or whatever it is, that it just didn't really suit my needs, if that makes any sense. And how do I decide what stays and goes in my collection? When it comes to downsizing my collection, what I ended up doing is that I end up I kind of analyze all my handbags, right? And I just think, okay, when's the last time I ended up using this? And when's the last time I ended up using that? And if it's been anywhere from 6 to 9 months, maybe a year, then what I end up doing is I use that handbag for about a week. I try to use it for a week. I try to use it for a couple of days, and then I'm able to really pinpoint why it is that I don't end up carrying it. It might be because it's too uncomfortable. It might be because it doesn't carry as much as I would like, or maybe it's a little too fussy of a handbag. And then I start to think, okay, then this is something that needs to go because obviously I haven't used it. And as I said before, once I end up having that in my mind, once I kind of detach from the handbag, that's pretty much what it is. It's set in stone. And that way I never have that seller's remorse. Because if you end up selling a handbag and then you think, why did I get rid of it? Why did I get rid of it? That is a horrible feeling. So that's why I really try to give it as much thought as possible, because the last thing that any of us would want to do, I'm sure, is to, let's say you buy a handbag when it was, I don't know, $1,500, and now it retails for $1,900. You end up selling it, and then you think, oh man, I really need that handbag back. Now you have to pay the extra amount that the handbag is because of the price increase or whatever it is, if that makes any sense. But no, I just think that really doing research and really figuring out what it is that suits your lifestyle is the best. And there are times that I just want a handbag, that I just love that bag because I love the color, I love the leather, and I know that might be a little contradicting because I'm going, you know, I'm telling you guys that I do research, but sometimes there are those handbags that you just cannot get out of your mind and you end up going for it. And let's be honest, half the time we don't know how a handbag is going to work out until we physically have it and until we physically use it. Because if, you know, if I do a review on it and someone else does a review and they swear by it, and you know, there's this hype about the bag, and then you end up getting it and you just think, what is the hype about? This bag is horrible. You know what I mean? So sometimes it doesn't end up, even all the research in the world that you do on a certain handbag or on a certain item, it doesn't matter until it's physically in your hands. That's why I always suggest going into the boutique, trying out the items. If you're there for 5 hours, 6 hours, what have you, who cares? Because at the money that these items are, why not get exactly what it is that you are paying for? So hopefully that was able to help. Next question from Ambra Regazzoni. I'm probably butchering that. My apologies. I have 6 Louis Vuitton bags, and now I'm thinking of picking the Givenchy Antigona or the mini Celine. What do you think will keep the price? Okay, so truth be told, I have been looking at the the Givenchy quite a bit within the last week or two. And between the two, I would have to say that the Givenchy ends up holding its resale value just a little bit better. But with any of the handbags, really, it comes down to neutral colors. Neutral colors will always hold their resale value a lot better than say a red handbag or a pink handbag, with the only exception being Hermes, because Hermes, whether it is black or tan or what have you, those end up holding their resale value. But the colored Birkins or the Kellys hold their resale value even more so because they're limited edition colors. So that's the only exception to the rule. But when it comes to other fashion houses, the black mini luggage holds its value very, very well. A little bit better than the other colored handbags, but regardless, I felt that the Antigona still has just a tad better resale value than the mini luggage does. And of course, because the mini luggage tends to lose its shape a little bit more, and just the little wrinkles that it gets on the side, that's not very appealing as, you know, as the bag ends up wearing. So a lot of people prefer the Antigona because of its structure, and it just looks a lot better over time. But it also depends on the type of leather that you end up getting. So that definitely that plays a major role in it. But for the most part, the Antigona over the Celine, I would have to say. But you guys know me, I have 2 Celines and I love them to pieces. And I think if I was to ever resell them, if I got, you know, pennies for it, it wouldn't even matter to me. Because I have just thoroughly enjoyed that handbag.
Next question from TBeautiful44. Does the straps on the Neverfull MM in Damier Ebene soften over time? I'm looking at purchasing this beauty and I've heard that the straps are very stiff. I'm also considering looking at purchasing it pre-loved with the hopes that they are a little softer. What are your thoughts? Okay, so when it comes to the Neverfull MM, and I actually brought mine out so we have a little bit more eye candy. This bag I have had for 5, maybe 6 years, something like that. It is my least used Neverfull, but I still use it quite a bit, but it's definitely nowhere near as much as I use my Monogram or my Damier Azur. But when it comes to the Damier Ebene, because it is the treated leather, it definitely has a little bit of stiffness to it, or I should say a whole lot of stiffness to it. And with the age that this bag is, you can see that the shoulder straps are still pretty much in the upright position. And even though I do love this bag, and I think that this bag is a forever piece of my collection, I have to say that when I do use it, it really ends up digging into your shoulder a lot more than I would like. And even though it might soften over time just a tad, because of the treated leather, once again, you will really end up noticing creases and wrinkling on the leather, especially on the leather trim here. And there's a chance, there's a bigger chance that it might end up cracking because of the type of leather that it is, or the coating that it has. So there is a pro to it, and there is a con. Definitely the fact that it is very carefree in the sense that you don't have to worry about water stains or patina or anything like that. But at the same time, it's something to really take into consideration because it does tend to be a little bit more uncomfortable. And of course, the more you end up putting in here, the more it'll end up just kind of wearing into your shoulder a little bit more. Regardless, I still love this bag. I use it because of the print. I definitely use it more so in the fall and in the winter. And if I'm, you know, if I have a heavy jacket on or a sweater, something like that, then I don't feel it as if I were to use it in the spring or summer, if that makes any sense. But, you know, I still don't think that they're anywhere as soft as these types of handles, because these just mold to your shoulder. They're extremely, extremely comfortable. So one thing to say is that if you're not fond of the wrinkling and you're not fond of the kind of the creases that it gets over time with going with a pre-loved route, or just buying it brand new, over time there's more than a chance that it'll end up happening, then I would maybe suggest against the Neverfull Damier Ebene. But if you like the fact that you don't have to worry about patina or water stains or anything like that, as I said before, then I still think that this is a great bag, even though it might be a little bit uncomfortable. So it definitely has its pros and its cons, but I love the bag regardless. Next question from Emily LV. What will you choose between the Alma BB and Epi and the Chanel Caviar Wallet on Chain? I love them both, but I am not sure about their wear and tear over time. And the Chanel Wallet on Chain is so much more expensive than the Alma BB. Is it really worth the money? By the way, I do have a jumbo. Do you think that these two, the classic flap and the Wallet on Chain, are kind of similar in some way? Okay, and I did bring out the Wallet on Chain with the black caviar leather and the gold hardware, so we have more eye candy. Now, when it comes to the Wallet on Chain, I think I have talked your guys' ear off about this item. I love this piece. And to me, sometimes it's really nice to have something that's a little bit more subtle, you know, and something that's very, very versatile, because I can use this crossbody, I can use this as a mini handbag, I can use it as a clutch, and the fact that it is all leather is a bonus, plus the fact that it holds its resale value incredibly well is another bonus to this item. But I use it quite often, and I think it's great. Having said that, the Alma BB, you know, that's another bag that I really like. You guys know, how fond I am of the Damier Ebene one. But when it comes to the Epi, that is even more carefree. Between the two, even though the caviar leather is very carefree, the Epi is just a little bit more. I feel that it's kind of the best of both worlds, because it's super carefree, it's all leather, and it's still very subtle as well. And, you know, one thing with the Alma BB, it holds a lot more than the Wallet on Chain does. So it's a matter of whether or not it's something that ends up suiting your lifestyle. So maybe not so much is it worth it, because it might be worth it to me, but it all depends on what you need in your lifestyle or what it is that you like in your collection. But I really do, I love both of them. And I think that for the money, the Alma BB is just insane compared to this, because it holds a lot more. It still has a pretty good resale value, not as much as a Wallet on Chain does, but it's subtle, it's black, it goes with everything, it's perfect, it's very versatile. The only thing is that I couldn't pull off the BB crossbody, kind of like I would be able to with the wallet on chain, because it obviously has a longer chain. But that's really the only other thing. You can end up using it as a shoulder bag. You can take it off and use it as a little handbag as well. So I think that they're both versatile. Both of them being black leather are amazing. But I feel that, you know, that the Alma BB definitely has a lot more to offer than people think. And it's definitely one of those things that it's very deceiving because it's small, but it packs a punch. And if you guys watched my what's in my bag video with my Alma BB and Damier Ebene, it is insane. Someone labeled me as Mary Poppins, that I just kept pulling things out of my handbag, because you feel like, you know, you feel like you've reached the end of the video and I'm barely getting started pulling things out of the bag. So I think both are great. It's all a matter of personal preference. And do I think that they're similar? I don't think so. I think besides the fact that if you end up going for quilted or caviar leather or whatever it is, I think that they're very different. And I've actually heard that before. Some people have said that they're a little too similar, that if you end up having one, you really don't need the other. But if anything, I guess you could say it's more of a miniature version of the classic flap. So I guess I see why it is that people say it's similar. But let's say if you love the look of the quilted leather and you love the look of the caviar leather or the gold hardware, whatever it is, and you don't want to carry a bigger bag or a heavy bag like the jumbo is, then having something like the wallet on chain and being able to use it as a clutch, I still think is a great way to go. So to answer your question, the Alma BB and the wallet on chain are both fantastic pieces. The wallet on chain holds its resale value a lot better, a whole lot more than the Alma BB does. But it's all a matter of personal preference. And really what it comes down to is what it is that you like or what it is that you want in your collection. So hopefully that was able to help. I know I kept on giving you pros on each one, but I think that they're both fantastic pieces. All right, next question from Helen Panna. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I recently started buying luxury goods, and the stupid comments I get are so annoying. My children are all married and even helped them purchase apartments. Now I think it's me time. I love Louis Vuitton bags. I have 4 bags, an assortment of SLGs, and sunglasses. Please, should I feel guilty? I try to ignore them, but it's so frustrating. I love this question, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already know my answer. And even though I'm not a parent or I'm not a mom, I know what my parents have gone through to raise my brother and I. And raising 4 kids is no easy task. It is a full-time job, and I don't think it's a job that ever ends, really. And I feel that if you want to reward yourself with a handbag, if you want to reward yourself with a ring, if this gaudy ring or this awesome car, then you can do whatever it is. You shouldn't have to justify yourself to anybody. You do not owe an explanation to anybody at all either. And there's a lot of people that will disagree with, you know, why are you buying handbags? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You know, I've heard my fair share of it, and I just think it's so when I think about it, it's so I cannot believe that someone would have the audacity to say that, because I'm not one to tell people what you should or shouldn't buy with your money. Who am I to judge? I don't earn your money, so why should I have any say in what it is that you end up buying? You know, and I feel that everyone has their hobbies. Everyone likes something, whether it is, you know, brooches for my mom, or whether it's collecting cars. I know some people do that, or collecting art, or whatever it is. Who are any of us to judge or to say what it is that you should spend your money on? And I have a funny story for you guys. This happened to me quite some time ago, and we were out and about, and these 2 ladies were being some awesome people. I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm thinking. And they kept looking over at my handbag, and I was just sitting there, and I hear one of them with, you know, she was very, very loud, and she said, "Oh my God, people that buy expensive handbags are so stupid. Why don't they spend that money on, you know, on those less fortunate? Or why don't they spend their money on this? Why don't they spend their money on that?" And she was kind of doing it so that she said it loud enough so I can hear it, you know, and then she looked at me, and she had the audacity to look at me and say, "What do you think? Don't you feel that way, ma'am?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, I totally agree. People that buy expensive handbags are just insane. I agree." And she looked at me and I think she expected me to say something different because she just had this, like, this bewildered look on her face, like, wait, what? You have an expensive handbag. I know that's what she was thinking. And then she didn't say anything after that. Sometimes I feel that the more and more we try to justify our purchases with people, or the more and more we try to, you know, make them understand why it is that we buy this or why it is that we buy that, I think that that kind of feeds the fire a little bit more. So if you just ignore it, or if you agree with them when they're saying something like, oh, isn't that stupid? You're right. I agree 100%. What are they going to say? What are they going to say? They're just going to be like, what? I don't get it. I don't understand, you know? So it's I do that so many times, and that's another reason why I never end up feeding into any of the BS comments that I get here on YouTube, because I'm going to do me. And, you know, like I've said before, some people think I'm, you know, I'm this way or I'm that or whatever, and then they voice their opinions on me. That's fine. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. You know, but when it comes to the point when people are being nasty and they're just being, you know, all in all, just ignorant about us, you know, what it is that's going on, then I don't even bother. What's the point? You know, because I feel that once someone knows that they're getting a rise out of you, then they'll just kind of start picking at it more and more and more, because you keep feeding into it. Does that make sense? So I would just ignore it, hold your head up high, or do what I did and just be like, I know, right? They're not going to say anything. So, you know, Helen, you have done an amazing job raising 4 kids. So your me time is definitely here. And whether you guys have little ones and you still want to buy handbags or whatever it is, no one is anyone to be able to judge what it is that you do with your money, if that makes any sense. You do you, and if it makes you happy, and if it's not hurting someone else, then so be it. We don't owe explanations to anybody. All right, Berenice. I have a Speedy 35 and a Coach tote. I'm looking to add a new bag from Louis Vuitton, but I am not sure which one to go for. I'm thinking maybe a crossbody, but I feel that it's too small a bag and for all that money. Any thoughts or suggestions? Okay, so as most of you know, I'm not too crazy about crossbody bags. I do appreciate them. I do know what they bring to the table. And I have to say that when it comes to crossbody bags, one of the best things about them is how incredibly freeing it is to have a crossbody bag, because you don't have to worry about something sliding off your shoulder. You have it a little bit more secure on your body, and you're still able to do things with both of your hands versus using a top handle bag. Sometimes those top handle bags can be a little bit heavy, but like I said before, I'm not the fondest person of crossbody, but I do love what they have to bring. And I'd have to say that when it comes to crossbody bags, probably the one that really ended up changing my thoughts on it is the Pochette Métis. And the reason why I like the Pochette Métis so much is because it holds so incredibly much. You have these 3 compartments, or 2 compartments I should say, and it doesn't look like it would hold too much, but I actually have a picture that I wanted to share with you guys. It was a picture of something, or I was using this a few days ago, so I will insert the picture now. In that picture, I have a full-size wallet. I have pretty much all of my goodies with me, and I'm still able to close it without a problem. So for me, having a crossbody bag that I'm able to use and really be able to put all of my essentials in here, even if it's a little bit more money, I think it's definitely worth it, because you get the added benefits of it being crossbody. You get the fact that it holds so much inside, and the fact that you don't have to have this tiny little handbag that's going to end up costing, you know, $4,000 or $2,600 or anything like that. And this one has a price tag of $1,700, and this is by far one of my all-time favorite crossbodies. And like I said, I do appreciate them, and this was a game changer for me. But I'm still not there to the point where I only use crossbody bags. But this one just holds so much, and it really it's not too bulky. It doesn't take up too much space, but it's very, very comfortable. So if you want to go with a crossbody item, make sure that it's something that you need in your lifestyle. Make sure that it's, you know, if you tend to carry quite a bit with you, I would go to the boutique, have all those essentials with you, and see which crossbody bag ends up working the best for you. You know, just that way you don't have to minimize how much it is that you're carrying, if that makes any sense. You know, you don't have to downsize so much so to the point where you're without an item that you really, really do need. So that's what I would suggest, but definitely take a look at the Pochette Métis. I love the bag, and I've raved about it since the day I got it, and I did have some issues with the whole glazing thing. This is my second one, but I haven't had any issues with it since, and I just think it's a fantastic, fantastic handbag. And it is a little bit more than I would have normally wanted to purchase, you know, pay for a crossbody bag, but the fact that I'm able to, it's so incredibly versatile, it definitely ends up paying for itself 1,000 times over. So check that out if you can. Next question from Sam the Purse Addict. I was curious about ordering Chanel over the phone. I've heard that if you do, you can't just give them your credit card number. Instead, you have to use a money order or something around those lines. Is that true? Would it be because of fraud? Great question. And I actually ended up buying something over the phone 3 days ago, 3 days ago. And when I was talking to the sales associate, she said that she's never had to deal with money orders or anything like that. And there's been quite a few times that I've been able to purchase things over the phone, pay with my credit card in boutiques that I have never physically been in. Now, even though they are all Chanel boutiques, I think that some of the boutiques, from what she said, might have, maybe have some different types of regulations or some types of rules. So it really depends on the boutique itself. But I haven't had any issues with them so far. If you guys have any other information, if you guys if you guys have had this happen, let us know in the comment section down below, because I'm intrigued. I couldn't find any information on it online either, so I want to know what it is. I mean, it would make sense that it would be because of the fraud, but still I feel that it might be, I don't know, it might be a little bit more of a hassle to have to go through all of that in order to purchase it. But again, I understand if it has to do with fraud. So if you guys have any information, let us know in the comment section down below, so that way we can help Sam out, because I unfortunately do not know. I don't have much information, so my apologies. All right, so next question from Simply Rosie 09. I have been eyeing the Alma BB in Epi Noir for quite some time, and I love it. But I have been watching so many videos on YouTube about the Louis Vuitton Twice or Twin Set in Empreinte Noir. I don't even know why I would do that, laughing out loud. And now I don't know which one to ask dear hubby for to get me for Christmas. I think eventually I'll want them both, but I can't make up my mind on one. And the Twice or Twin Set in the Empreinte is just gorgeous. And I'm thinking I might just throw the Empreinte key holder as well to be matchy-matchy if I go for the Twice. How can I make up my mind? How versatile do you think that they can be? So you guys already know my feelings on the Alma BB, especially because of the last couple questions. And, you know, I still think that the Empreinte is a beautiful bag, very, very subtle and very, very carefree. Now, the Empreinte Twice, I do like that bag, and it is also very versatile, because you can use it as a crossbody bag, you can use it as a shoulder bag. It has the adjustable strap so that you're able to utilize it, you know, however it is that you need. The only downside I would have to say to the Empreinte is that over time, depending upon how much you use it, it might end up losing its shape a little bit more, and the embossing won't be as prominent as it was when you first got it. So that's really the only downside. And because the Twice has those two pockets, one of them has the snap button closure and one of them has the zippered pocket, you're able to still get into the bag fairly quickly. And let's say you wanted to make sure that your wallet was a little bit more secure, you'd put it in the zippered compartment. And if you wanted to get to your phone a little bit quicker, then obviously you can just, you know, flip open the snap button closure and be able to retrieve your items quickly as well. But I think both are great. I still feel that the Alma BB might carry a little bit more between the two. So if you're not too crazy about it losing its structure, or not too crazy about losing the embossing over time, then I would end up going for the Alma BB. But the Empreinte, you guys know my love for Empreinte, and even though I know that it might not end up wearing the best because some of the bags don't have all the best structure, I still am a huge fan of Empreinte. Go to the boutique and try them both on, and then see which one sings the loudest, and I would go for that one. All right, and next question from the Brown Girl Network. In your experience, what is the best Louis Vuitton bag of all time? Which one would you recommend to purchase? Do you think that the Louis Vuitton Artsy is worth the money? All right, so fantastic question. In my experience, what is the best Louis Vuitton bag of all time? I think that it's no surprise that I have always said that the Speedy has always been my favorite bag of all time. I think it's one of the best handbags of all time. That's what I used to say, and I will fully admit that. I used to say that because I still think the bag is great, especially the Classic Speedy is one of my favorites. But I would have to say that hands down, the Neverfull MM, especially in the MM size, is my all-time favorite Louis Vuitton bag because it is so incredibly versatile. It is so easy to use. And I put a post up a few days ago on Instagram that even though I like mini handbags, even though I like top handle bags, there is just something about totes that will forever have my heart. And I just love how easy it is to use. And it may be because I'm more so of I'm more of a casual dresser, more of a casual person. So this definitely ends up suiting my lifestyle the best. So that's why I recommend it so much. And I have a Neverfull Is It Worth It video, and I will link it in the description box below. And if you guys want to check it out, of course there are a few others, but for me right now in this particular moment and for the last couple of months, year and a half, I'd have to say that the Neverfull takes the cake for me. Do I think that the Louis Vuitton Artsy is worth the money? And here I have the Artsy in the MM size and the monogram canvas, and I think that this is probably one of the most beautiful handbags that the fashion house has in their collection right now. I love the pleating that they have. I love the shoulder strap. Just the attention to detail is amazing, and the craftsmanship, just check that out. It is beautiful. One of the things that just drives me crazy is the fact that it loses its shape. I have thought about selling this handbag multiple times. I go back and forth, back and forth. I'm like this when it comes to this handbag because I love it, I love it, I love it. I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it. And then I end up doing what I told you guys earlier, is that I have it sit on the shelf and then I end up using it to see if, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm just going to get rid of it because it drives me crazy. And then when I end up using it, I love the bag. I love the way that it feels. And then, I'll end up changing my mind. I am literally all over the place with this handbag. I cannot make up my mind to save my life. And one of the things that I really liked in the beginning about this bag is the fact that it does have the cork handle. So it makes it a little bit easier to be able to carry. It makes it a little bit more comfortable to wear. In the beginning, I felt that way. I even talked about it in my review video, how comfortable it was to wear. But I feel that the more and more I wear it, it tends to be a little bit more uncomfortable. I feel like it starts to kind of dig into my shoulder a little bit more. And that's definitely one of the downsides to why I want, or one of the reasons why I end up thinking about getting rid of this bag, because the shoulder strap tends to be a little bit uncomfortable, over a period of time, over a few hours or what have you, plus the fact that it loses its shape. So for me, those are the two things that really just make me want to get rid of it. But then when I use it, I love the way that it looks, and I love the fact that I can carry everything and the kitchen sink in here. When I even said about getting rid of this on Instagram, a lot of people were like, why? It's such a beautiful bag. It's so this, it's so this, it's so that. It is all those things, but at the same time, it tends to be a little uncomfortable. And if I'm going to be carrying everything and the kitchen sink, the last thing that I want to do is have this just digging into my shoulder to the point where I just want to throw it on the ground. You know what I mean? I'm sure I'm not the only one that sometimes when you're carrying your handbag, you're just like, I have had it, and you want to throw it on the ground. So I really go back and forth, and I really wish I would be able to tell you with certainty how I feel about the Artsy, but it is a beautiful bag. It all depends on what it is that you need and if you like it. That does it for Minks Monday Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys all next week. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day, you guys.